Hello, good evening, and thanks for watching Times News. I'm Chisomo Chihana. First, headlines. The government owes the private sector at least 12 billion kwacha in arrears of tax refunds. Engagement between duty bearers and rights holders expected to develop following the development of an online engagement platform. In our special report, Thomas Kachere investigates deforestation at Muwali-Vulezi Forest Reserve in Leza District. We have these and other stories. Please stay with us. In our first story, the government owes the private sector at least 12 billion kwacha in arrears of tax refunds, a growth from 10 billion kwacha in November 2020. This was disclosed at the 27th Public-Private Dialogue Forum, which was held on Friday in Mzozo. Patience Lunda has the details in this report.
It was also disclosed that government owes the private sector money in form of services that the private sector has been providing to the government that has not been paid for. Representing the private sector, Vizenge Kumwenda pleaded with the government to speed up payment of the arrears as the delay is crippling operations of the private sector.
There is an issue of arrears that the government owes to private sector. This is a matter that has been going on for a long time, and the private sector is really pleading with government to look into that with speed.
The main purpose of the forum was to provide an engagement platform between government and the private sector on issues affecting the latter and build solutions on the issues raised. It was further highlighted that the lack of incentives to invest in the priority government sectors such as energy, land issues, taxation is derailing the private bloc from venturing in the sectors. On his part, Minister of Trade, Sosten Gwengwe, said the Ministry of Finance has started paying the arrears. He, however, said the ministry is also supposed to be prudent in the way they handle the matters of finance, hence the delays. Gwengwe added that the small-scale businesses are being prioritized in the exercise to avoid killing their businesses.
The Ministry of Finance has started paying arrears, and they will continue doing so, but you would know that the dictates of the Public Finance Management Act demand that the ministry should be prudent in the way they handle all matters of finance. That's why you hear that as we are giving out arrears to some companies or some industry players, but we also need to have them properly audited. So as the auditing is happening on one side, on the other side where the audit is through, payments are being made.
The Public-Private Dialogue Forum was also graced by Ministers of Labour, Industry, Energy, Lands and Agriculture, who responded to issues related to their respective ministries.
The Ministry of Civic Education and National Unity has developed an online government citizens engagement platform designed to foster greater communication and engagement between duty bearers and rights holders. During the official launch of the platform on Friday in Lilongwe, the minister responsible, Timothy Mtambo, said the platform has been named Babwalo. Mtambo explains.
I'm so happy that today we have done this because this platform gives authority to the people. This platform is going to promote dialogue between the citizens, the bosses, and us in government as servants. This platform is going to take government closer to the people. Essentially, we develop policies, we develop laws, we develop development plans, not to be gathering dust in our offices. These documents belong to Malawians. So through this platform, the government will be able to share these important instruments and tools to the people of this country so that the people can engage the government effectively on an informed basis.
Registrar of the High Court, Anthony Kapaswiche, has on Friday reserved his ruling till April 15, 2021 on an application by former President Peter Mutharika and former Chief Secretary Lloyd Muhara for the suspension of enforcement of the 69 million kwacha they were ordered to pay in legal costs pending review. Mutharika and Muhara were found guilty of interfering with judicial operations when they ordered Chief Justice Andrew Nyirenda and Justice of Appeal Edward Twea to go on forced leave. Audrey Kabaramura reports.
On Friday, all parties in the matter made oral submissions before Kapaswiche. Lawyer for the two Mwaibanda of Tembenu and the Masumbu Company, in an interview, said their basic argument is to allow the court to first hear the review of the matter scheduled for April 26 before proceeding with the enforcement.
Applicants with HRDC and others have already started enforcement proceedings. So our argument is simple. The very same amount which is going to be enforced now is what is going to be under review. So is it not proper that the court should now suspend the enforcement and review the cost, and later on simply the applicants can enforce it? So it's a basic argument which we even don't understand why our friends are disputing.
Human Rights Defenders Coalition lawyer Kumbo Soko and Malawi Law Society representative Wesley Mwafriwa argued against the application, stressing the matter was already resolved by the court. Soko added that they have already written banks asking for execution of the court order.
Grounds for seeking stay order. Actually, the issues, so far as we are concerned, were already resolved by Justice Nyirenda and his ruling of the 22nd of March this year. He said there is no evidence that if any money is paid back to our clients, they won't be able to pay it back. So basically asking, what are we doing here? Because these issues have already been traversed, and the court has rendered its opinion. If you're not happy, then go and try your chance in the appellate court. We can't be going around the same molehill over and over again. It's not how it works. So that was our position.
Mutharika and Muhara were ordered to pay 26 million kwacha each to HRDC and Association of Magistrates, while the Law Society gets 43 million kwacha within 14 days from the day of the ruling in March. The High Court on 27 August 2020 faulted Mutharika and Muhara for their decision, which was seen to have breached the doctrine of separation of powers of the executive, legislative and judiciary.
This is Times News, and we'll be back after this break.
Do your gums hurt?
Yeah.
Does your toothpaste contain sage, eucalyptus, myrrh, chamomile?
All that in one toothpaste?
Yes, try Colgate Herbal. Colgate Herbal contains nature's best herbs and Colgate's fluoride technology to give you strong teeth and healthy gums.
Ah, Colgate Herbal.
Let's go. Colgate Herbal for strong teeth and healthy gums naturally.
If there's one thing that all soaps do, it's wash. From buckets to basins, bathrooms to streams, and everything in between.
All soaps wash.
Yes, but Protex is different. Its reinvented formula with flaxseed oil boosts your skin's natural anti-germ defenses by 10 times more, protecting you against 99.9% of germs. So what keeps us healthy?
Protex!
Good health starts here.
Define your surroundings with the color of your choice. Make it warm, creative, friendly, and vibrant. Coat textures, durable color options, with up to 1,200 color shades to choose from. Be it economy range or premium range paints, innovative paint and color technology in every drop. Available in Blantyre, Build Africa, and Limby Corner Mart Building, and in Lilongwe along M12 Road close to Gateway Mall. Tropical Paints, your world in color.
Welcome back. In our special report, Thomas Kachere investigates deforestation at Muwa Forest Reserve in Letsa district. Among other issues, the investigation has shown that high demand for charcoal in urban locations is fueling charcoal production, as Thomas Kachere narrates.
Gazetted as a protected area in 1924, Muwa Forest Reserve covers an area of about 12,644 hectares. My visit in the forest found out that there are many charcoal producers who are depleting the natural trees. One of the charcoal producers, Ephraim Robert from Golmoti village, said he is into charcoal production as this is his sole means of generating money. He said he is aware that the trees in the reserve are being depleted, but said they have no option. According to Robert, they make more money when they sell to business people who come from other areas.
Ababa forestry waru panoba nyengwenoi sakufurafura so for boyamba masiwa mbuyo amaran amavuro gombiri.
As of now, the forest personnel are not hard as they used before because they know we all depend on this charcoal production. Before, they used to patrol frequently and confiscate our weapons so that we should pay a fine to get them back. I do this kind of a job because I want to take care of myself. I need to buy clothes and soap from the money realized. According to me, I can stop producing charcoal and venture into another economic activity if I can find capital.
The country's forests are threatened due to reliance on biomass for energy and timber for construction, agriculture and settlement expansion and harmful bushfires. Muwa Forest Reserve Forest Assistant Michael Joseph Njala said his role is to ensure the forest reserve is well controlled and protected so that the resources are well utilized. Njala said the department has been having intensive patrols in the last 2 months of December 2020 and January 2021, unlike in the previous months where they had a break due to inadequate funding. Njala said charcoal production has been a big problem in the reserve, especially in the months of October, November and December. He however said that charcoal production remains the biggest problem in the reserve due to high demand of charcoal in Lilongwe.
Because there is a potential market in capital city. Here they do produce a charcoal and sell it at a cost of 2,000 kwacha per bag. But we do hear from others that as they sell their bag in Lilongwe, they manage to come up with 7,000 kwacha. That means there is enough room for the market there. So the best way is to do something that there should be no market of charcoal in the cities. Because once there is no market, people will stop producing charcoal in these localities.
Chairperson of Kafulama Block, Dorothy Chauma, says they are working together with the Department of Forest to deal with deforestation in the reserve. Chauma added that once they found encroachers, they confiscate their items.
Mugwirizano watu waife ndaboma tose tuyende limodzi kupita ukachita parilo kunkhalango kuja. Koma chimene chimativuta nchonena kuti ife tikunyamuka mabwera kuno anzathu ngambala yakomweko amene amalowa nkhalangomu.
Our group helps the Department of Forest in patrolling the forest. But our challenge is that the time we are getting out of the forest, it's when encroachers get in because they read our movements. Sometimes we find their belongings, so we confiscate them so that they should not go again.
Tipeza makasu timarenga, tipeza dzigubu timarenga ndithu, tipeza kapoto choboka cholinga iwo basi asabireso kudzikoko.
Senior Chief Kajindamoto says she was more concerned with the ongoing deforestation in the reserve, which prompted her to establish a committee to look into the issue. She says the committee set up bylaws to counter deforestation.
It was reported to me that there is deforestation in the reserve. We then convened a meeting with all village heads and the forest department officers where we unveiled the bylaws to counter the problem. I was once taken to see the forest and I was shocked with how it has been destroyed. That is why I decided to act, regardless of whether people will brand me as a bad person or not, because the aim is to protect the reserve, and that is the right thing. There were some village heads who were neglecting the bylaws, and I had to suspend them. There is danger ahead of this deforestation. Look, this is the third place for me to relocate, after the first and second were affected by floods due to the waters coming from the reserve.
96% of Malawians use wood fuels for household cooking and heating. Recently, Modern Cooking for Healthy Forests in Malawi, MCHF, had a project co-funded by USAID and Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, FCDO, aimed at engaging the communities on how best they could protect the reserves. But Deputy Director of Forest, Ted Kamoto, says the department is more concerned with deforestation in the reserve. He says 6 years ago, they had been engaging communities on forest conservation and income-generating activities, although their expectations were not met. He added that forest crimes now carries a penalty of up to 20 years imprisonment, a thing he believes will reduce pressure.
We had a program to engage communities in the protection of that reserve, I think 6 years ago, and we actually capacitated the community in terms of how to undertake forest conservation activities, forest management activities, the income generating activities, even forest-based enterprises like the mushrooms and the like. So we thought the community had gained the capacity to be able to manage. But what we've noted over the years is that the expectation that we had hasn't been realized. So what we've just done right now is to do an assessment of where did things really go wrong, that we can build on the efforts that we had.
Professor of Democracy at the University of Birmingham, Nick Cheeseman, says deforestation was identified as a major challenge in the 1980s and has been a massive problem in Malawi before multipartyism. He says he believes democracy has emboldened people to claim rights and also made leaders more likely to allow people get away with forest crimes in exchange for votes. Cheeseman says for Malawi to win the battle against deforestation, it requires different stands like creating cheap alternatives so that people do not have to fall back on charcoal. Alternative energy and fuel-efficient technology specialist for Modern Cooking for Healthy Forests in Malawi, Admo Chiumia, says there are alternatives to illegal charcoal that urban households can adopt, such as pellets, sustainable charcoal, briquettes, and liquefied petroleum gas, LPG.
Police in the northern region have arrested 163 people for committing different offences in a sweeping exercise that happened in all 6 districts in the northern region. Northern Region Police Deputy Public Relations Officer Maurice Chapola said a majority of the suspects contravened COVID-19 restrictions. From Zuzu, Sam Karimira reports.
According to Chapola, some people were found without face masks in drinking joints, while others are suspected to commit offences such as theft. Chapola said some suspects have already been taken to court, while others, the police, are conducting investigations before they are taken to court.
I can confirm that last night we conducted simultaneous operations across the region, whereby we have managed to arrest 163 people in connection to various cases. Of the 163, 91 have been needed for contravening COVID-19 regulations, while the rest have been arrested because they were on the wanted list by the police. Let me mention that we are taking them to court as soon as we are done with paperwork. Let me also say that these operations are ongoing.
Last week, the police also arrested 140 suspects on similar offences. The police are conducting operations, and such exercise normally happened during late hours.
Guardians at a maternity unit in Kando Mulanje are spending nights out in the open while waiting for their mothers and sisters to deliver due to lack of a guardian shelter. Tuchira Health Center officials have since asked the corporate world and well-wishers to help in building a shelter to accommodate the guardians. This was disclosed when UTM Youth Corps conducted a tree planting exercise at the hospital on Thursday. The tree planting exercise was undertaken to help protect it from natural disasters while conserving nature at the hospital. Renan Impasa has filed this report, read in our studios by Eric Msikiti.
Built with funding from the World Bank through the Malawi Flood Emergency Project after floods destroyed the first hospital in 2015, Tuchira Health Center serves a huge population as compared to other health centers in the country. Health Management Committee Chair for Tuchira Health Center, Maxwell Karonga, says the facility saves people from other areas apart from Nkando. The catchment area, which the health center was designed to serve, has protracted the required estimates. We therefore would like to ask the government to help in allocating more resources here. The Ministry of Health must consider elevating this health center to a level of a rural hospital. UTM Youth Corps, a grouping of young business people around Blantyre on Thursday, led community leaders from around Nkando in planting over 300 trees at the health center. While thanking the UTM Youth Corps for the initiative, Karonga was quick to sound the alarm for greater help. We appeal to companies and well-wishers to help us build a guardian shelter where guardians can sleep, prepare food, and find rest while waiting to take care of their patients. Chair of UTM Youth Corps, Solomon Chuguse, said the tree planting exercise is one way of engaging the communities to develop their own area while at the same time enhancing participatory citizenship. He said they are working with Tuchira Youth Club to identify areas where the youth can help in developing their area. Priority areas include conservation of nature, doing charity works like sharing PPEs to less privileged people, and uplifting old people's lives.
Our group, UTM Youth Corps, we do charity works and the developmental activities. That's why today we are here at Nkando planting these trees.
Group Village Headman Juma thanked UTM Youth Corps for being there in the conservation of their community. Present at the function were Group Village Headman Nkando, Chilemba, Nkwaira, Juma, and Village Head Nankumwa, Councillor for the area Fabrica Selipenga, market leaders, and the communities around Nkando. UTM Youth Corps is a group of young businessmen from Blantyre doing charity works and other developmental activities supporting the government in line with the Vision 2063.
Minister of Energy Newton Kambala on Thursday commissioned the construction of a 21 megawatt solar power plant valued at $4 million, which is equivalent to 3.1 billion kwacha in Kota. The construction of the plant will be done by an independent power producer, Thanes Group. The 21 megawatts will be added to the national grid. Matthews Kasanda has a report.
The plant, which will be on a 60 hectares of land with 60,000 solar panels, is expected to be functional by the end of this year. Kambala said on Thursday that Malawi, which has been relying on hydropower for a long time, has a gap in power supply. He said that government has revised the national energy policy to allow independent power producers come in and end monopoly of power supply by the Electricity Supply Corporation of Malawi, ESCOM. Kambala therefore commended Thanes Group for the project, which he says would help supply power at a time the country's industrialization is expanding.
Considering the levels of shortage of power we have in Malawi, especially from the generation point, 21 megawatts is very significant, and it will definitely increase access to energy in Malawi, and therefore contribute to growing economy in Malawi. Because currently we are talking of a total of about 400 megawatts, and if you look at 21, it's quite significant. So we are looking forward actually to see this project implemented within the year and have it connected to the grid as quick as possible.
Thanes is working in partnership with Responsibility Renewable Energy Holding, RARE, which is an independent power producer constructing and operating renewable energy projects in sub-Saharan Africa. Wilfred Van Den Bos is Rare Investment Director.
Our purchase agreement became effective in January this year and effectively gives us a window of 12 months to complete the project. The quality of the project will comply with with Tier 1, with the highest quality Tier 1 equipment is being used.
Currently, Malawi has the capacity to produce 400 megawatts.
In international news, Prince Philip, the Greek-born consort to Queen Elizabeth, Britain's longest-sitting monarch, has died at the age of 99. The Duke of Edinburgh is best remembered for his sense of duty to the Queen and also his sense of humor. And that's the news for now, but before we go, the headlines once again. The government owes the private sector at least 12 billion kwacha in arrears of tax refunds. Engagement between duty bearers and rights holders expected to develop following the development of an online engagement platform. In our special report, Thomas Kachere investigates deforestation at Mualivulezi Forest Reserve in Leza District. You've been with me, Chisom Jehana. You can get more on these and other stories by visiting our website, www.times.mw, liking our Facebook page, Times360 Malawi, and following us on Twitter at Times360 Malawi. Remember to wash your hands regularly, observe social and physical distance, and mask up. Please stay safe.
Lovely evening. My name is Elita Sokom here with the weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow. Expect locally heavy rain over northern lakeshore areas to continue, while partly cloudy to cloudy conditions continue over the south and center due to the rain belt which continues to oscillate over the north, and fairly moist southeasterly air mass dominates over the center and the south. In the Shire Valley, mild and partly cloudy tonight and during morning, and expect cloudy and hot conditions during the afternoon. Southern Highlands expect cool and partly cloudy conditions tonight and during morning, cloudy and warm during the afternoon. Central areas cloudy and cool tonight and in the morning. Expect cloudy and generally warm conditions during the afternoon. Lakeshore areas expect cloudy with locally heavy rain and thunderstorms mainly over the Karonga and Nkatabe tonight and during morning. Hot and cloudy with thunder showers mainly over northern lakeshore areas during the afternoon. And in the northern areas, cool and cloudy conditions with rain drizzles mainly over Mzuzu tonight and during morning, and mild and cloudy with rain drizzles during the afternoon. Forecast temperatures. Ngabo, a minimum of 22 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 33. Blantyre, a minimum of 17 and a maximum of 26. Lilongwe, a minimum of 16 and a maximum of 27. Mangochi, a minimum of 20 and a maximum of 30. Mzuzu, a minimum of 15 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 23 degrees Celsius. Wind generally southeasterly but gusty and strong in stormy areas. Forecast for Sunday. Expect rainy weather over the north. We now give you the times for sunrise and sunset for tomorrow, the 10th of April 2021. In Mzuzu, the sun will rise at 12 minutes to 6 and set at 9 minutes to 6. Lilongwe, the sun will rise at 11 minutes to 6 and set at 8 minutes to 6. And in Blantyre, the sun will rise at 5:45 and set at 5:45 in the evening. That's the weather forecast. I'm Edita Soko.